But I feel like one of two things is going to happen probably within the next 5 to 10 years. One thing that could happen is a creator like you that's going to connect with patients, both current and future. Like somebody's going to just become so engaging, give away so much content that people are going to say, how can she possibly give this all away for free? And through that access to distribution, somebody like you is going to then take the Mr. Beast model of essentially buying and owning the businesses. And I know that sounds weird to anybody that hates capitalism, but that's kind of unfortunately what happens. Or the opposite of that's going to happen, which is the most interesting, maybe infrastructure software companies in the industry will come to people like you and say, hey, what would it look like to just make all your problems go away and have you just kind of keep doing what you're doing? But, oh, by the way, can it be part of our pod? Like it's going to be the HubSpot version of healthcare. So we'll see where that goes. But like, again, everything we've seen in every industry kind of already happened in some other industry.
It definitely feels we're in an interesting space because the conversations I'm having on the business side of it have changed drastically in the last 3 years. Now, I've also grown drastically in the last 3 years, but I think the conversations have become much more the healthcare space is like, how do we make this work for us? And it doesn't feel necessarily, it doesn't always feel like the right kind of conversation. I don't think the right questions are being asked often. But there are the occasions where I have conversations where I'm like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. When we're talking about how we can utilize authentic, globally reaching ideas like, hey, we are all living on a continuum of disability. What does it mean to be prepared for disability instead of having to constantly react? And if I'm making content that prepares you for an inevitability, like I rolled my ankle walking the dog and now found myself on crutches for 6 weeks. We're all just living that way. Why don't we create networks in healthcare that really truly lean into the preventative model? And I think using social media and or that kind of crowdsourced format makes the most sense for that type of preventative care. Because guess what? Our system does not work for preventative care. We cannot turn this ship around and be like, you know what? We're going to change it. We're no longer going to be responsive. We're going to be preventative. That isn't happening. So social media is the place where people are gathering that preventative information, and we could legitimately improve outcomes for the healthcare of the global healthcare society by just simply making that content available in every place possible in a high quality way.
If you'd like to learn more about Strata PT and see how our EMR and RCM works, head over to stratapt.com to book a demo.